You're listening to Quantum Revenue Expansion with your host, Ursula Menchez. Let's go.
Real core of the sales piece is don't make it harder than it needs to be. Don't think you have to write super complicated sales scripts. Solve a problem, meet a need. Ask open-ended questions, find their pain point. Can you help them? If you can, it's a disservice to not offer that. So once that's all happening, like we have team helping us, we're growing the business, we've got a handle on our time, the marketing's going out, sales are coming in, and then stuff starts to break in the background, right? Like there's, systems and operations is critical. It's definitely not my favorite thing to talk about, but it's definitely my favorite thing to fix in my business because it makes my life easier. So A lot of times we're talking about it. I know it's something you love, you geek out on it. What do you think people get wrong about systems and operations, or, just
they don't think it through. There's so much energy attached to the money making part or the sales part. And we get so excited, like, oh, I got a sale, or we're going to hit a sales goal, that we forget the next part, which is actually fulfilling, right? It's kind of like being excited that you got married and you got the ring and you got the piece of paper, and then like totally dropping the ball on like the rest of the relationship, right? So, it's really taking the time to delineate the steps of fulfillment, right? And that's where systems come in. And we did this training, I think it was last month, with our clients, when we talked about like, what is a system? Like, what do you think a system is? And what came back was, it's a bunch of tasks that you do to get something done. And it's like, so here's all these ingredients to make a chocolate cake. Go for it. Figure it out. I call it the context within the content. Yeah. So you have someone buy and like, here's what they get. Like really think about how we move from one task or one piece of that task to the next. And that's what creates a system. A system is something that can run pretty much by itself. A lot of things that we consume are part of systems. You go to McDonald's, that's a system. You buy a car, that car was built with a system. And I think a lot of times we miss that because we tend to be creative entrepreneurs. We don't like the details. It's not the fun part. I'll tell you what's really fun is when you have a system that works and does things for you, and then you can go do fun stuff yourself that aren't in your business, or that a system's so good that you can hand it off to somebody else and they can do it. So systems and operations are super important. I think the biggest thing is we just don't think through it. We don't take the time to think through what it is. Or we put so much that if it gets broken, we have like a come apart, we devalue ourselves or our word or whatever. And it just doesn't have to be that way. Just step in, fix it. Systems evolve over time because we live in an ever evolving world. You don't go and do things the way that you used to do them because of a lot of things. You get older, you get sorer, there's new technology, there's just a different cultural way of doing things. And so we forget that it's an evolution of the system. But I really think people don't stop. It's not about being smart and logical. That's not how you build a system. It's just being willing to be present with the fulfillment or the thing that you're trying to get done, and just taking the time to do that. And then once you do that, like if you had I love metaphors. I always say a metaphor to death. If you had a yard full of weeds and you only, handled those weeds 3 or 4 times a year, that would be a crappy project. Like it would take days and you'd be sore and all that. But the truth is, if you cleared all that once and then you had a system where every week you just went and pulled what had just come up, that was not a hard system. It takes a few minutes and you handle it, and then you've got the result of that system all year round. So it's thinking of it in terms of that, just being willing to dig in. It's not hard. It's just be present, take the time. What is the process? What needs to happen? What are the key points? Document it. How often do you need to do that? And I do think that's fun. Some people might be like, wow, I don't want to be a business owner now. Thanks, Rebecca. But, if you can think it, someone else can do it. So that's the other cool part about it is just if you can think it through, that's where you hire it out.
Thank you for joining us today. And if you are ready to make your next quantum leap, let's do it. Ursula invites you to join us at the 2X Intensive. Go to salescoachnow.com/apply. Don't forget to leave us a review on your favorite podcast app.